Today we're going to be looking at an article that is a Dune review of the Denis Villeneuve forthcoming adaptation of the Frank Herbert novel. Now, I myself haven't read any of the novels. I just watched the Lynch Dune again. I kind of follow some channels that review the novels, and I'll speak about that in the video, one in particular. But we have here a reviewer for Gamespot who gives this movie a glowing review and then decides to virtue signal. And chaos ensues on Twitter, much to his behest, I'm sure. But we'll get into that in the video. Monkeys, roll the footage.
You are so beautiful, my Baron. Your skin, love to me.
Yeah, that works.
I like
all right,
that.
okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, what about Tulip?
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Gamespot.com. I saw this article, a couple days ago, and I haven't had a chance to speak on it yet. Dune review, the one you've been waiting for. Denis Villeneuve's Dune is the best possible adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel. This by Mike Rougeau, September 3rd. Now, the reason I'm covering this is I just watched the 1984 David Lynch Dune, which is, by all accounts, a very poor adaptation of the books because they tried to put so much into such a short runtime, and it just didn't work out. Loyalists to the novel obviously were, not happy with this because this is something that was in the works for a long time. Like I said, I just watched this the other night. I hadn't seen it probably in close to 30 years. And I was like, man, this is, and this is me. I haven't read the Frank Herbert novels. I have not. Admittedly, I enjoyed the movie. I did. And knowing what I know now about it, having done all this, kind of had to do some research, short of reading the books, and listening to other channels like Nerd Cookies, who does a wonderful breakdown of the Dune mythos. So if you're not, go subscribe to Nerd Cookies. I just want to cover this because I thought it was interesting that this writer for GameSpot, who Michael Rougeau, we'll get into him a little bit, but he says it's the best possible adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel, okay? So we'll just kind of read through a couple paragraphs of this, then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk to you about in this video today. So we'll start with adapting Frank Herbert's Dune, the opening chapter in one of sci-fi's most influential and sweeping stories would be a daunting proposition no matter who you are. But if anyone was going to do it, that person was director Denis Villeneuve, who proved with films like Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 that he can craft big-budget science fiction like nobody else. Villeneuve has made Dune very much his own, but also brought the novel's pages to life in a way that's so instantly iconic it feels inevitable. Of course, this is what Dune is, how the desert planet Arrakis looks, the shape of the starships that carry the members of the House Atreides there, and the towering silhouette of the monstrous Baron Harkonnen, the microscopically intricate details on the needle of the Gom Jabbar. Like the 1965 novel, Dune follows the House Atreides at the direction of a distant galactic empire. They assume control of the spice harvesting operations on Arrakis. Spice is the most valuable substance in the universe, and the planet's previous stewards, the infamously brutalistic House Harkonnen, won't let it go easily. The film only covers about half the novel, which gives it room to live and breathe with the Atreides and their enemies and friends, Duke Leto, Oscar Isaac, the Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson, and Leto's concubine, and member of the mysterious Bene Gesserit order, and Leto's son and heir, Paul, played by Timothée Chalamet, has, as well as members of their household, including Gurney Halleck, Josh Brolin, Swordmaster Duncan Idaho, Jason Momoa, Mentat, a human computer, Fear Howat, Stephen McKinley Henderson, and Dr. Wellington Yu, Chen Chang. So these are the main characters in the movie and the book, obviously, from the House Atreides side of things. So this is what I wanted to get to with this review. He gives it a good review, and I'll link the article in the description so you can read through it if you want to. The elephant in the room, if there is one, is the fact that Dune is an almost 60-year-old story that suffers from reliance on the all-too-familiar white savior trope. Paul Atreides, a powerful young white man, is hailed as a messiah and the fulfillment of prophecy by many, though not all, of the brown-skinned residents of Arrakis.
Well, shit.
The vague unease this trope imparts might have been mitigated by casting a non-white actor in Paul's role, although one can hardly complain about Chalamet himself. And during a recent interviews with the press, including GameSpot, Villeneuve has said he views Dune's larger story as a rebuttal of the white savior tropes. That may not come across in this chapter, but I'm inclined to give the visionary director the benefit of the doubt and see where the tale goes next. Those quibbles will provide plenty of fodder for commentators and critics once Dune is out in the world. But fans of the series need only know this. Denis Villeneuve's Dune is the best possible adaptation of one science fiction's most iconic works. It's the one you've waited for over 5 decades, or since whatever time you first turned a page in Herbert's seminal novel. The talented filmmakers and jaw-dropping cast have done it justice. Go see it so they can tell the rest of the story. And I want to highlight this. The vague unease this trope imparts might have been mitigated by casting a non-white actor in Paul's role.
He was a retard.
My question to this writer, Mike Rougeau, is what the actual fuck are you talking about? Cast a non-white actor in Paul's role just to satiate your need for there not to be a white savior trope when the director says this is a rebuttal of the white savior trope. This was the Fremen's religion. This was, a lot of them, based on just the movie, what I got from the movie, the Lynch movie was, this was their prophecy. And him coming there was the prophecy fulfilled. This was based on a book. So you have to change it now. You have to change the work of Frank Herbert just to satiate people on Twitter in 2021 who can't handle a white hero.
You serious?
Paul Atreides, becomes immersed in their culture. So does Lady Jessica. In the movie, I'm only speaking to the 1984 David Lynch movie. And from what I saw, he pays reverence to it. He's not coming in, taking advantage of it, and changing it to fit his needs and wants and views. So I don't understand the need of this author to, kind of give it a good review and kind of shit on it at the end with this line here, but still gives it a good review. I decided let's look into Mike Rougeau a little bit, shall we? Cue the music. So here's Michael Rougeau, staff writer at Gamespot.com. Mike Rougeau is GameSpot's managing editor of entertainment with over 10 years of pop culture journalism experience. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife and 2 dogs. Here we go. Rogue Cheddar. And he's a blue checkmark thief. I used to be a journalist. New thing coming soon. Dogs are better than people. I used to be. Oh, here we go. Of course. Gotta have the pronouns. So many idiots to block today. First, I drink their outraged tears, though. Oh, looks like you got ratioed on that.
Police, get what you fucking deserve!
I think it's a pretty fair criticism of your review. You missed the point of the Dune story. It's a criticism of charismatic leaders. So the con you gave it was pretty unfair and nonsensical. Hence all the backlash you're getting. I hope this clears things up. Oh, I bet you Michael Rougeau. He blocked me. Yes. I had a shitty uninformed opinion online and can't take any criticism. Starter kit. Typical, I don't care about these people, but I'm going to continue and tweet about how I don't care about these people. You're mistaking outrage for tired, bored, and weary and annoyed. You'll be busy for a while instead of writing silly reviews. He doesn't have to worry about that. He's been fired. Oh, I'm sorry. He's leaving the industry.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Don't be so weak, bro. It seems based on your review, you are the outraged one.
I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone.
How are you going to give a movie a 10 after essentially saying it has racist tropes?
You've got to do better.
Blocked for describing what he did. Might as well just write a L on your forehead. When you give a movie a 10 out of 10 rating and the fans are still mad at you, maybe it's time to consider reason why people are mad. Just saying. I drink their outraged tears, all the while crying about people in a tweet and taking the time out of your day to block them. No one's crying but you. The irony here is that nobody blocking you for your opinion. I'm not the asshole everyone else is. An ex-IGN irrelevant journalist having him showcase he didn't understand a 7-year-old book being the peak of his career.
Move this man!
Being a minority is harder because of racists like you, but you'll just block everyone and ignore the truth because you're engrossed in your own narcissistic ego. Remember the time you said people were screaming into the void, and then hours later mentioned their screaming? Where did the void end? Oh, let's look at this idiotic statement. Oh, wow, so many triggered people. Shame you can't block yourself then, said turn racism in your review. Hi, Mike. Just read a few of your tweets. All I can say is I'm glad what happened to you has happened to you. You deserve it. Oh, this is good right here. I've gotten a multitude of criticism for inserting anti-white trope in a review of a movie I really enjoyed, The Virtue Signal. Now I'm on a blocking spree, but totally not butthurt about it. P.S. That GIF is considered digital blackface to the people you pander to. There is no elephant in the room. Your Marxist cult has given you a prism in which to critically see things and exact sinister meaning where there is none.
There ain't no fluff here.
No, you're just playing the victim instead of taking criticism on board. It also helps if you actually know what Dune is about. But I digress. Ironic that you yourself are playing right into the part of the white savior, educating the peasants with empty virtue signaling. That's fucking beautiful. So are you your own white savior in this case? You caused a ruckus by dinging a movie solely on an actor's race. So I'm here to block your arrogant ego. Go to the corner and think about what you wrote at Gamespot. I'm black, and if the roles are reversed, it would be racist. Oh! Donald Trump is a scourge and a plague. Everyone who voted for him should be driven away. Fuck you all. There we are. Right there. There it is. There it is, ladies and gents. The Drumpf, Orange Man Bad, comes back to rear its ugly head, and it all boils down to that. I think we've exhausted our efforts here in digging into Mr. Rougeau's tweets.
But I'm not done yet!
Sitting here and enjoying all the irony of the totally non-toxic Dune fans calling for me to be fired on today of all days for daring to mention the white savior trope in my review. Keep screaming into the void. Gets ratioed to fucking hell again. 97 likes, 69 retweets, 328 comments. And then he's not working at GameSpot anymore, ladies and gents. Here's a tweet. This is funny. When all people are treated like boxes in a spreadsheet instead of, people.
Watching their coworkers drop like flies and the team shrinking, all the while being expected to remain competitive in a fast-moving industry and continuously growing. Wow.
So there you have it. Mike Rougeau gives Dune a 10 out of 10 and then inexplicably turns around and says that it uses white savior tropes to, the brown people need to be saved, the Fremen, without really understanding the source material, I think. And I say this as someone who, as I stated many times in the video, has not read the books, but just watched the Lynch movie. I can see the dynamic, and I watch channels that know the lore, listen to them, and I'm like, okay, so it gives me more context going into the story, especially Nerd Cookies. Like I said, big shout out to Nerd Cookies. Check their channel out over there. Wonderful understanding and knowledge of the source material, so check them out. And if you've enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen, it's your turn to opine in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this review if you've read it. The article's linked in the description. I don't want to give them clicks, but I want you to be able to read the entire review, decide for yourself, and let me know what you think. If today's the day that I have earned it, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to slap that like button on the way out. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 8:35 Eastern. Join myself, Tony Tone Deaf, Red Gaze, the assistant regional manager, and Vinny Tartamella of Vinny Art right here for Monday Night Going In Raw, episode number 168, ladies and gents. Plus, there's more videos on the way. I'm Itepukuyan of The Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. And remember, it's always better to burn out than fade away.